No more blaming the past. No more pointing fingers at circumstances, parents, teachers, bosses, or that one moment you wish you could erase. That moment doesn't own you. That mistake isn't your identity. That failure didn't finish you. What will define this year, what will define you, is your decision right now to take complete ownership of your life. Because until you do, you'll keep repeating cycles that were never meant to last this long. Ownership is where transformation begins. Not talent, not opportunity, not luck. Transformation starts the moment you stop waiting for someone to rescue you. It starts when you admit, if it's going to happen, it's going to be me who does it. You can't keep outsourcing your progress to your environment or your emotions. You can't keep saying you don't have time while wasting hours on distractions. You can't keep asking for more while doing the same. Most people never step into greatness because they're too busy rehearsing their excuses. They've built an identity around limitation and made comfort zones their permanent address. You weren't created to play it safe. You weren't designed to live on autopilot. You were built to wake up, take the wheel, and steer this life where you were meant to go. And that starts with one bold truth. You are responsible for everything. You allow everything you tolerate and everything you do not confront. This is not about guilt. This is not about shame. This is about power. When you take ownership, you take back your power. You stop living like life is something happening to you and start showing up like life is something happening through you. You stop being the victim of your past and become the architect of your future. Taking ownership doesn't mean you caused every hardship. It doesn't mean everything was your fault. It means you accept that no matter what happened, you are still responsible for how you respond. And that response is where your power lives. That response is where your future begins. Because ownership isn't just about what you did, it's about what you choose to do next. You may not have chosen the trauma, but you can choose the healing. You may not have chosen the setback, but you can choose the comeback. You may not have chosen the struggle, but you can choose how it shapes you. When you decide that you're done waiting, done blaming, done excusing, you unlock a version of yourself you've never met, but always needed. This year won't be any different unless you are. The goals, the dreams, the vision, all of that means nothing without discipline, without effort, without ownership. Stop making promises you're not backing up with action. Stop setting goals you aren't willing to fight for. Every unfulfilled dream is asking you, how bad do you want this? And every answer that isn't followed by action is just noise. The world is full of people who want. Wanting is easy. Owning it? That's rare. That's what separates the talkers from the doers, the dreamers from the builders, the spectators from the game changers. If you're serious about making 2025 your year, it won't come from hype. It will come from humility. The kind of humility that says, I've wasted time, I've messed up, but I'm done running, I'm done hiding, I'm done blaming, I'm ready to build. Ownership means getting honest with yourself. Where are you making excuses? Where are you playing small? Where are you waiting for things to change instead of being the one who changes? You want momentum? Start moving. You want respect? Start showing up. You want peace? Start cleaning up the parts of your life you've been avoiding. Maybe nobody taught you how to take ownership. Maybe you were raised in chaos. Maybe you were trained to survive, not thrive. But now you know. Now you're aware. And with that awareness comes responsibility. Not perfection, not pressure, but responsibility. You're not here to stay stuck. You're here to grow. And growth starts when the lies stop. When you stop telling yourself that you need more time, more approval, or more clarity before you start. You already have everything you need to take the next step. You already have access to change. The only thing standing between you and your future is your willingness to own your role in shaping it. And that's not just about big dramatic moves, it's about the quiet decisions, the choices nobody sees, the moments you choose to push instead of quit, to discipline your mind instead of indulging your impulses, to build instead of blame. Make this personal. Make it practical. What are you doing with your mornings? What are you allowing into your mind? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What habits are you reinforcing? These aren't small things. These are everything. Because ownership lives in the details. It shows up in how you treat your time, how you handle your challenges, how you speak to yourself when no one's around. The standard you set for yourself becomes the ceiling of your life. And the truth is, most people are not living at their potential. They're living at their level of tolerance. They tolerate broken routines. They tolerate excuses. They tolerate mediocrity. And that's exactly what they keep getting. But if you raise the standard, if you stop tolerating anything less than growth, ownership, and integrity, you'll start to see results that match your vision. You don't need more motivation. You need more commitment. You don't need another inspiring quote. You need to do the hard thing. You need to wake up early, stay focused, keep going when it's boring, and push when it's painful. That's ownership. That's how you turn goals into habits and habits into a lifestyle. Nobody else can do this for you. Not your mentor, not your coach, not your friends. This is your responsibility. This is your life. And you owe it to yourself, not just to dream big, but to back it up with relentless execution. That simple question carries an enormous weight. It challenges assumptions, interrupts doubt, and forces a new perspective. It's the kind of question that can crack open possibility if you're bold enough to answer it honestly. When you look around at people accomplishing great things, building businesses, changing lives, mastering their craft, it's tempting to believe they have something you don't. A special gift, a better start, a support system you never had. But the truth? Most of them simply made a decision. They decided to believe they were worthy of the opportunity. They stepped forward when everything in them said they weren't ready. They asked themselves the same question. Why not me? The difference between who you are and who you want to be is often just one choice away. The choice to stop shrinking, the choice to speak up, the choice to risk failing in order to grow. It's not always about having more knowledge, more talent, or more time. It's about stepping forward despite what's lacking. That's how transformation begins. Not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of courage. When you decide that you don't need to be perfect to start, you tap into something deeper than confidence. You tap into conviction. Too many people wait for permission to live fully. They wait for a sign, for support, for circumstances to align. But permission is a trap. It's often just another word for procrastination. No one is going to come tap you on the shoulder and declare it's your time. That moment you're waiting for, it doesn't arrive, it's created. And the moment you stop waiting and start acting, the game changes. Your actions become your evidence. Every small step forward builds a record that proves you belong in the room. You no longer need someone else's approval when your progress becomes undeniable. Stepping into your potential isn't about faking confidence. It's about building it brick by brick, one action at a time. You might not feel ready. That's okay. Readiness is overrated. Most people who did something great weren't ready either. But they were willing. Willing to fall. Willing to learn. Willing to show up even when they didn't feel like it. And that willingness gave them the edge. Because while others waited, they acted. While others doubted, they prepared. While others complained, they executed. Here's the truth. Your future doesn't respond to excuses. It responds to bold decisions. The moment you choose to believe you have what it takes, your energy changes. You move differently. You speak with more clarity. You carry yourself with a quiet authority that can't be faked. Not because you have it all figured out, but because you've decided to trust the process and show up fully. You've stopped negotiating with your potential and started fulfilling it. Look around at your life right now. What goals have you shelved because you thought someone else was better suited? What ideas have you sat on because you believed the timing wasn't right? Those moments are still waiting for you, but they won't wait forever. Your potential has an expiration date if you never act on it. One day, the pain of regret could outweigh the fear you feel now. Don't let that be your story. Everything changes when you stop asking, "Am I good enough?" and start asking, "What's stopping me?" That shift is powerful. It moves the conversation from judgment to strategy, from doubt to determination. Instead of measuring yourself against others, you start measuring your effort against your goals. That's where growth lives. That's where real change begins. Not in comparison, but in commitment. People who rise, people who lead, people who break generational limits, they aren't fearless. They just got tired of settling, tired of repeating patterns, tired of watching life happen around them instead of through them. So they made a different choice. And now it's your turn. There's nothing noble about staying small so others feel comfortable. There's nothing powerful about hiding your voice. Your light doesn't help the world by staying dim. And make no mistake, your voice, your gifts, your experience, your fight, it matters. But it only matters if you show up and not just halfway, all the way. Every time you hesitate to move forward, someone else with less skill but more belief is taking that spot. Belief is the great separator. It turns average into excellent. It turns talent into legacy. The next level of your life is already in motion. It's not a matter of possibility. It's a matter of pursuit. The door isn't locked, but it won't open for those who wait. It opens for those who knock, who push, who refuse to settle for maybe someday. Someday is the enemy of momentum. It lulls people into comfort zones that become cages. Don't be that person. Be the one who moves now, who speaks now, who dares now. You don't have to do it perfectly. You just have to do it. Action is the proof of belief. Every time you take a step, even a small one, you build trust in yourself. You silence the doubts a little more. You create a track record of resilience. And over time, that becomes who you are. Not someone waiting for a breakthrough, but someone creating it. Don't underestimate what can shift in a year. The person you become by December could be unrecognizable to the person standing here in June. But it starts with that choice. That decision to step into the life you've always imagined. Not because it's guaranteed, but because it's worth the risk. Because you're worth the risk. This is your year. Not because the calendar changed, not because some magic flipped at midnight on January 1st, but because you've made the decision to show up differently. You've reached a point where being passive is no longer an option. The clock doesn't grant greatness, your commitment does. If you've been waiting for a sign, for a moment of clarity, this is it. No one is coming to push you harder than you're willing to push yourself. This is the year you stop outsourcing responsibility for your success. You stop hoping, and you start moving. There's a difference between wanting something and being ready to claim it. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants to feel fulfilled, confident, strong. But how many people are actually ready to take full ownership of what that requires? This year, the line is drawn. You either continue waiting for things to align, or you become the force that aligns them. You become the person who gets up without being told. You stop needing motivation and instead create it by your movement, your energy, your refusal to quit. Ownership is everything. When you claim something as your own, your standards change. You don't skip days. You don't make excuses. When it's yours, you protect it. You fight for it. You build it with urgency. You don't wait for the right moment. You become the reason the moment is right. Too often, people drift through life like passengers. But this year is not for drifting. This is not the year of, we'll see. This is the year of, watch me. Making this your year means walking with intent. You don't stumble into success. You don't casually evolve into a better version of yourself. It happens with intentional effort, daily, uncomfortable, deliberate effort. You become someone who's unwilling to waste the days, unwilling to look back with regret. The pain of change is real, but the pain of regret is permanent. You don't want to wake up a year from now wishing you had started when you had the chance. You have the chance now. You already have what it takes. That's not the question. The question is, will you use it? Will you be disciplined when no one is watching? Will you speak life into your future when everything around you screams doubt? Will you show up even on the days that feel unfair, when progress feels invisible? Because that's what ownership looks like. It's not about hype, it's about habit. Not about excitement, but about execution. You don't need to feel ready. You need to start. This year is about no more playing small. No more shrinking to fit the spaces that are too comfortable, too familiar. There is something dangerous about staying in what's familiar. It slowly convinces you that it's safe. But comfort is not safety. It's the silent killer of potential. Playing small might protect your ego, but it suffocates your growth. If you've ever looked around and felt like you're capable of more, you're right. The pull you feel, that itch to rise higher, to live louder, that's your potential begging to be unleashed. Answer it. You're not here to repeat last year. You're not here to repeat your old patterns, to echo your old excuses. You're here to rise, to shift, to show yourself who you've always been beneath the hesitation. Make your decisions from where you're going, not where you've been. That's how you create a new year. That's how you create a new you. You've been rehearsing doubt for too long. It's time to rehearse belief. It's time to program your mind for power, for vision, for hunger. That's how champions are made, not in talent, but in tenacity. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need to believe in you. You don't need external permission to level up. Give yourself that permission. Stop waiting for people to recognize you. Stop waiting for someone to open a door. Kick the door in, or build your own. No more asking, can I? You tell yourself, watch me. You decide what this year will look like. You set the tone, you write the script. This isn't about chance. It's about choice. The version of you that's capable of dominating this year, that version already exists. It's buried under doubt, under habits that don't serve you, under a life that's been designed to keep you in neutral. You've got to dig. Dig past your fear. Dig past the distractions. Dig past the fake stories you've told yourself. Start aligning your life with your vision, not your comfort. You're not chasing perfection, you're chasing progress. And every day, you move, even if it's an inch, you're winning. You are not average. You were never meant to be average. But average becomes default when you stop demanding excellence from yourself. It's easy to forget how powerful you are when you're surrounded by mediocrity. But deep down, you know the truth. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to build, to lead, to impact. You can't live out your purpose by playing it safe. Safe doesn't stretch you. Safe doesn't teach you. Safe keeps you still. Let this be the year you stop negotiating with yourself. The year you stop arguing for your limitations. Every excuse you make is a vote against your future. Every time you procrastinate, every time you settle, you delay the life that's waiting for you. Don't talk yourself out of your breakthrough. Don't let fear be louder than your fire. This is your moment, not because it's easy, but because you've decided it's necessary. The path forward won't always be clear, but your commitment has to be. You don't need certainty to take the first step. You need courage. You need to believe that even when the way is dark, your why will light it. And your why, your reason, your fire, your vision, it has to be strong enough to carry you through the grind. Because there will be days when motivation fades. On those days, you don't quit. You remember. You remember who you are, what you want, and why you started. Let this year be the one where you stop waiting for the stars to align. Start aligning your habits with your goals. Align your words with your actions. Align your standards with your dreams. What you tolerate becomes your truth. Raise your standards. Refuse to settle. This is the year you refuse to be average. This is the year you hold yourself accountable because no one else is responsible for your greatness. It's on you now.